There's where it starts. 2014 bear hunt. Gotta buy your license at AJ's. That's the first stop. That way you know you got them. Let's go get them. Yeah, you may not want to be in a hurry anymore in the world, because it seems like every highway they have in the United States and Canada, they got tore up doing something to it. This is over a mile of backup here. And at 5:26 Iowa time, we were just leaving Norwalk, Iowa, just arriving at Nipigon. That took 13 hours to get here with all the road construction. Well, we're up here at Nipigon River, August 16th. Rained pretty good last night. The guy still shot some bears. Couple nice ones there. That's Steve. Now you're from Kansas, right?
Yeah.
That's probably one of the bigger ones you've shot up here, eh?
Oh, I shot one west of town. Probably bigger, but
You get him before the rain?
yeah, it was about 6:15. Pretty early. I had one come in about 5, and he come in about 6:15. So.
How many pounds are you pulling your bow?
72,
72?
73.
What kind of broadhead?
I was shooting a Magnus Stinger.
Magnus Stinger. That's two blade, ain't it?
Yeah, it's 2 blade and it's got a little bleeder.
Yeah. Well, that's even got a nice white blaze on it, don't it?
Yeah.
Did you see that before you shot it?
No, I actually didn't. I've shot, a ton of bears up here and seen a ton up here, and my buddy Dustin told me he seen one last year that had, the white on it. And,
so that's the first one you got with a blaze on it?
That's the first one I got that had the white.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
What have you been coming up here, 15, 20 years?
Oh, I think Bobby was just starting out back in the early 80s.
Wow.
That's when I started coming up.
Now that's a testimonial in its own right. That guy drives all the way from Kansas. I've seen you drive up here and unfortunately hit a bear, and then, you're just one and done, and then go back home. And that's sportsman right there. I mean, you didn't whine about it. You just said, well, I had my chance, and you said, well, that's the end of that hunt. And takes a pretty mature person to do that.
We count the days down to the trip up here,
Yeah, yeah.
You come up here to hunt, you don't necessarily come up here to kill. So.
Yeah, that's a good philosophy. I wish more young people would get that instilled in them, Yeah, here we are, getting some bait. We got a mixture of popcorn, peanuts, you name it. We'll put it in this bucket. We'll take it out. And I know some people have a problem with baiting. They don't think it's quite ethical. And that's what I say to that is each their own. If you're in an area where you can do a spot and stalk on black bear, that's fine and dandy. I'd enjoy doing that. But up here in Nipigon, you're dealing with secondary cutovers where the timber has been harvested before. And it's really, really hard to entice the black bear in for an ethical shot. Therefore, we'll use this bait as an attractant, and highly ethical. That gives you time to set your shot up. So we're up here at Nipigon River Bear Hunt with Bobby Bearman, Nipigon, Ontario, and we're going to go out and bait up the bait site. And so if we can't get a black bear down. They shot 3 last night and had quite a bit of storm, rain, and lightning come through. So real nice, cool, overcast day. Perfect day to go bear hunting, even though it's the middle of August. And a lot of people back in Iowa assume that it's too early, but actually it's a good time to be here. So let's go out to the bush and see what happens. Well, my, how time flies. Just a year ago I got out of this bear stand, the same one I'm going to go back in tonight. And as you've seen last year on the video, the stand made a squeak and the bear I wanted took off. So here it is, a year later, another year older and hopefully wiser. And on that topic I'd like to go over a couple things. Well, you guys are first coming up here to hunt bear in the province of Ontario in Canada. You're going to need a hunter outdoors card. If you don't have one of these, when you try to buy your license, you're going to have an old or new in-state, the state that you live in, hunting license, or proof that you've hunted somewhere prior to getting here to Canada. So you will have to have some old hunting license, or like I say, a current hunting license from your state, or already have this hunter card. Once you get this hunter card issued to you, it has an expiration date on it, and they will let you know, and it's your responsibility to make sure you keep this card updated. So all you have to do is swipe it, and it makes it pretty painless. But if you're at the license issuer, don't be arguing with them because you didn't do your homework. They can only do what the law tells them they have to do. And if you don't have one of these, and you don't have an old hunting license in your possession, you're not hunting in Canada. So that's the number one thing. Well, actually, the number one thing is make sure you got that passport with you, or you're never going to get into Canada to buy the hunting license anyway. So let's step back. Passport would be number one, a hunter card. Okay, now, once you're at the licensing agent, and AJ's is the number one to stop here at, it's probably 15 minutes across the border. They're going to issue your bear tag. And this year was $230. So that's what you're going to get there. Don't ask them for an export tag at the same time, because they can't issue an export tag. The export tag will be issued after you harvested the deer or the bear or whatever animal you're hunting at the time. The pounds of meat and the objects, the antlers, hide, and whatever will have to be registered on that tag. So don't ask them, can I buy my or export tag at the same time? No, you can't. Anyhow, they will issue you this bear tag. That's what they will issue you. Now, this bear tag, by its own merit, up here in Canada, being you're a non-resident, has no merit whatsoever if you're caught in the bush without your sponsor or your outfitter's certificate along with you. You have to have this. It has to be signed by the outfitter, and it has to be in your possession at all times when you're in the field. So don't think that you're just going to come up here and buy a tag and slip into the bush of Canada, because you're illegal. This is what's going to make this. Without this, this is illegal. So make sure you have all this paperwork. Has to be in your possession, by the way, when you're in the field. Another thing you have to go over for your first-time guys that are coming up, you'll have to have hunter orange on, and that also is on your head. You have to have your hat on, have your orange on, no matter whether you're bow hunting, gun hunting, crossbow hunting, or whatever. These are mandatory. Now, when you get in the stand, you can take the orange off. Going to and from the stand, it's a law that you have to have this much orange on. The next thing that you're going to be required to have on, or have in your possession, is a bow case. Now, this bow case, you have to have that in your possession, and your bow has to be in it at all times when you're going down the highway. It's the same as a gun. It has to be cased, fully encased. Those are two requirements. And another thing that you have to have bow case, once you get down out of your stand and you're walking back from the stand in the dark, the minute you hit the ground, that bow has to go in a case. Same way with your gun. Anytime you're traversing in before the season starts or after the season's over with the hours, you have to automatically and promptly put your weapon, and I use weapon because that's how they decipher all weapons up here. Bows, crossbows, guns, everything but a pistol, muzzleloader, is considered a weapon, and it all has to be cased. And unloaded if it is a gun, firearm. Okay, just remember that. If you want to come out in the morning and you get there before the legal sunrise time that you can start your hunt, and you're traversing down a game trail to get to your stand or blind, your bow better be in a case, so should your gun. When you get down out of that stand at nighttime, and you know maybe you have to walk back a quarter of a mile or a mile to get to your vehicle, don't leave your case in the back of your pickup and think you can walk back in the dark, because you're breaking the law carrying that weapon in your person without it being encased also. So you have to make sure you carry your hard case with you to the stand and back from the stand. So those are some tips that'll help you out coming up here, and just make sure you read all your rules and regs before you get here. And if you buy these licenses on the internet, make sure you give them good enough time to get all the paperwork done. And because if you try to buy these cards and you don't have proof of the card, you're going to have to buy another one when you get to the, the license dealer, because you got to have these 3 pieces of paperwork in your possession in the field at all times while you're on the hunt. So let's go set the bait and let's get this hunt underway. Yeah, there's some old school in the Canadian woods. That's old school right there, friends. That's not next generation. That's the old school generation right there, in the black and the red, right there. Irv Wagner's spirit is still hunting in the woods. I know he's under the weather right now, but he's still out here. Okay, we're going to take the bait back here and try to get this set up. It's almost 3 o'clock, and I got a lot of work to do. Now, for those of you that are against bait hunting, ladies and gentlemen, it's almost impossible to do a spot and stalk in here. I mean, you'd be shooting at a shadow. So bait up here in this province is a highly accepted practice, and without it, you couldn't control the bear numbers, because there's no way you're going to do much of a spot and stalk with all this foliage on. Oh, and we get back here by the bait. You see, we're in competition with nature's foods too. There's plenty of berries out here. You don't have that competition in the spring. Bait hunting can be somewhat challenging in the fall, because the bears have fed all summer, and unless they're really motivated to really get on the bait, they're doing just fine right now for Mother Nature's crop. You are what you eat, and Mother Nature feeds them pretty well. We come in a second place. Basically, we're just bringing something that their sweet tooth and their carbohydrates may want. Yeah, there's blueberries right here, no more than 10 feet from the bait barrel. Yeah, a pair of these little Floridian ratchet clippers come in really handy. This bush grows up pretty fast, and if you have any brush, they just snip it off pretty quick. So have some of these in your possession. Yeah, I know you're on a guided hunt, a paid-for hunt, but do as much as you can, and that'll help you out, put more of you in the hunt. Now, this is sort of a semi-guided situation where Bobby knows I know where I'm going. Not that I'm any better hunter than any one of you. It's just sort of repetitious. I've been coming up here, and after a few years, you pretty much know somewhat your way around to a point, but don't ever think you know it all, because this big boreal forest can intimidate you in a hurry. So what we're going to do, we're going to set this bait barrel up and try to remember last year I tried to crib it up, make sure the bear didn't lay on the ground. That's what we're going to do this year. We're going to make that barrel up, because if they come in and lay on their belly, they don't give you a very good shot. So I'm going to take my gloves, I'll put them in the food, because it just rained here last night, and I'm trying to keep human scent down as much as I can. Sometimes that doesn't seem like it really bothers the bear, but if you do got a pair of gloves, put them in the bait, rub them in there, and then pick up your cribbing and try to get your barrel up. This way, that bear has to come around, put her into that barrel. And if he wants to get down in there, he's going to have to stand up, because he's not going to be able to lay down and feed. That's the purpose of this. Well, August 16th, we got the bait barrel there, and we're going to see what happens tonight. It's a little windy, a little cold, a little cool. The bear should be moving pretty good. But with that said, you know, bear hunting. So this is brought to you by Bob Behrman of Nipigon River Bear Hunts. He donates a hunt annually to the IBA, and I want to thank him for that, and hope maybe some of you members can come up and benefit from his knowledge. And it's a pretty nice hunt, and usually we have one to auction off during the spring banquet. So he does all he can, so let's throw our support behind him. And if you're planning a bear hunt in the future, figure Nipigon River Bear Hunt, Bob Behrman in on your plans, and see if he can do you any good. There again, that archery field and sports shirt, I wore that in Las Vegas in 1988 it was. And a good friend of mine, Irv Wagner, the owner of that shop, has been having a health battle, and hope he's doing well, but his spirit's still up here, and I thought it'd be just a nice thing to do to bring his shirt along. That's the old school generation down there. His son's got the new generation, or next generation, and that was the old generation, old school. We were going down the road of old school here. This is old school hunt. 2 fingers under tab, gray hair, old man, old school of hunting. 45 inches axle to axle. Oh my God, prehistoric rest. Same rest that Chuck Adams killed most of his Grand Slam with. A simple flipper rest. 5-inch feathers. Oh my God. You talk about old school. And we'll get down here. A relic of a broadhead. A 3-blade fixed broadhead. Is this old gentleman really going to attempt to hunt in this modern day technology world with this old school equipment? Let's sit back and watch, and maybe young school can learn something from old school. It never bothered deer. Let's see if it bothers bear. Human urine. You just seen it. Let's see what happens. Here's a dilemma for you. Which one's pee and which one's tea? Can you figure it out? Maybe I need the aid of Cy Robinson. Anyhow, don't use your urinal bottle as the same bottle that you're drinking the soda out of. Get a different brand of bottle, because now you have a dilemma. Which is pee and which is tea? Don't ask me. Okay, for a lot of you new guys, you may go out and not see anything on your bait. On this particular barrel is what I call a cold barrel. And I could tell when I come in there was not a lot of activity around it. So what you're going to have to do is bait it, and baiting will warm it up, and hopefully it'll become a hot barrel. But for a couple of the first nights, don't get depressed when you start hunting a cold barrel, because it's going to take some time to warm it up. And about the time you get it warmed up, if you don't keep the faith, you'll be moving. And then the barrel will be hot and you won't be in the stand. So like I say, right now in my philosophy, it's a cold barrel. And it'll have to be brought up to temperature. And by that I mean you're going to have to bait it. Because right now, not a whole lot of bears in Canada know that barrel has got any bait in it. So, but they will. And you got to believe that. But it's going to take, like I said, it's going to take a while. It takes patience. So that's it from the non-typical Norwalkian. Old school road. Let's go down there. That's how we'll bear hunt. Old school. Old school ways with old school equipment, old men. Old school road. Follow me. Well, here we are on Old School Road. That pretty well sums it up. Bear hunt adventures begin right here on Old School. Well, it's Sunday night. The bait hasn't been hit yet, and that's a good thing. I mean, you come in and the kettle's cold, you're going to have to heat it up per se, and it can only get better. The more scent you bring in there, more food, they're going to gravitate to it eventually. Now, whether it's on your time slot or not, that's a different story. But that's hunting. And when I'm going to talk about hunting, we as hunters, we walk around pretty loud and proud anymore. But you got to really think about the definition of hunting. When you put a bait out, are you hunting? Or is that quarry that you're hunting the bait? Now, they're using their eyes, their nose, their ears, everything to come into that bait. Basically, all you're doing is babysitting a tree stand. Something comes in, you're like the mousetrap. Bam. You make the snap. They did the hunting. They hunted you down. Same way with antelope hunting. If you're sitting on a water hole, the antelope are hunting the water. You're a recipient of their hunt. You close the deal, they come into the water. Plant a food plot, cornfield, whatever. You're hunting that. The deer are hunting nutrition. They come to that. You make the shot. Very few people actually hunt today by where they would spot and stalk. And black bear up here in Ontario would definitely be a hunt. And the success rate would really be sucky. But I noticed a lot of people, when they come on these hunts, they don't want to hunt. Hell, I spend more time in my garage looking for a 9/16 wrench that I just had in my hand that I laid down somewhere. And I'm using all my senses, my eyesight, my nose, whatever that is, and I still can't find it. And it's just laying there. Eyeglasses, that's another thing. How many of you can't find your eyeglasses? You're on a hunt to find them constantly. So we're not very good hunters anymore because, like I said, we're letting the quarry hunt us, and then we close the deal.
Moose hunting, same thing. Uh, you're making the call, the bull is coming to the call. He's hunting the female. And you're, like I say, there again, you set the trap. You're nothing more than the mechanism on the mousetrap, and you make the slap. So let's keep this hunting testosterone level under control. Because like I said, I know each and every one of you have probably hunted something down in your garage or in your house and never found it and went to the store and bought the replacement, and 6 months later you found what you was looking for. Now that's hunting. And because definition of hunt is to pursue. And actually, all we're doing in reality is taking a spot, pulling up a tree, sitting down, and babysitting it. If something comes in, we close the deal. Well, that's enough rambling from the non-typical Norwalkian. Let's get to hunting. Oh, bugs are bad out here. Welcome to Canada. Well, as you can see, I had that bear's life in my hands. I was the man from up above, and I had his life in the balance. I had the power in my hand to take his life. And I guess the old man up above's got the power in his hand to take all of our lives. But I hope that, being he does have the power, the divine intervention, that when he has the power, comes down to Irvin Wagner, I hope he gives him a few more years to grow up. At least another 37, that'd make him 100. And then after 100, I guess it's time for you to go on up there to the other side of life. But I let that little bear live to live another day, and I hope the old man upstairs is listening, and he does that for my friend Irvin Wagner. So
I dedicate this bear hunt to him, and I wished he was here, but maybe he'll get here next year or one of these, future years. So that's it from the non-typical no walk-in.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Irv and all the gang back at Archery Field and Sports for sponsoring this pop-up target here. The most realistic pop-up target I've ever seen. Thanks, guys. Tim Hortons coffee, the flavor that bears will literally die for. Fresh brewed right from your local Tim Hortons right there in Nipigon at the Pinecrest Motel. Bring a cup out for your wild animals and see how that turns out. Because, like I say, Tim Hortons coffee, the brew that bears will literally die for. Well, that's going to put a wrap on it this morning, Monday morning. You notice that GPS, it told you what prime time it was, and it was spot on. It was spot on last night, too. So that's a little app that you got on those GPSs that you can punch in, and it'll tell you right where your location is, what prime time movement it is. And it's been right 2 times in a row now. I just stumbled on that. Sort of old school, learning new school. This hunt is sponsored by and put on by Bob Behrman of Nipigon River Bear Hunts. If you want some of this adventure in the future, contact Bobby Behrman up here at Nipigon, Ontario. He can cover all your hunting needs from bear, moose, wolf, whatever is up here to hunt. Contact Bobby and he can make you a northern adventure come true. Somebody left their calling card here, and that's pretty good sized poop. You notice it's got a lot of seeds in it. So anyhow, we'll be back in here tonight. New bear bait, Tim Hortons coffee. This is a little after effect. 430-pound live weight bear right there. That's Sam Gaylord out of Iowa. That's a hell of a big body right there. And I don't mean Sam.
Big too.
That's a lot of bear. 380 on the scale?
Yep.
430 on the paw.
We were really close. He said 400 on the scale.
A lot of bear. So Linda shot that bear, huh, Sam?
Linda shot this bear, yeah.
At 15 yards.
15 yards.
Wow.
2 years in a row she shot nice bears.
Yeah, man, oh man. That'd be hard to live with.
Yeah, she far out, doesn't even hang on.
Party time on that deal. Happy.
Happy.
That's some bear fat for you folks right there. Woo-wee. And we got another nice bear over here. This is part of the expense that we.
We're actually going to start from Thunder Bay, we'll start
Another nice bear.
It activates Yellowstone.
See this bear carcass right here? Well, what happened is they looking for the bear and they found another bear eating on it. So if they hadn't got to the bear, it would probably been devoured by now. But that's pretty rare. Another bear would be eating a bear. That's how that big hole got in there. Going in here to the grocery store. We're going to get some tuna fish. My belief is anything that's loud and proud might get the job done. So let's go in the grocery store and get some tuna fish. Anything that resonates a large smell might be enough just to entice the big old guy to get up off his rump and get over there. Well, I went in there to buy tuna fish. But tuna fish for the same size can, and I always found that interesting why they'd put tuna fish in the same can as cat food. I was going for the smell, and this is white fish, and you can pop the top, so you don't need a can opener, and it's going to smell pretty good, going to resonate, and it might be just to entice her that you need to get a bigger bear to move on. Plus, I bought some more stinky stuff, some of that sardines, you know, that stuff you get on your fingers and you can't get it off for a week. Kipper snacks, all that stuff might just be the formula to make a big bear move early. It'd be something new he hasn't smelled and he might come in. Not that they don't come in on the other stuff, this might be the spice of life that they need, so we'll know in a while. Yeah, we're sitting here, this is a little tech tip. On this Garmin Easy Track, this will tell you what the best times are to hunt your stand. It also shows you the time of sunrise, which is 5:47, which with daylight savings time would be 6:47. And the time of sunset would be 8:06, and you add an hour to that up here, would be 9:06. So you have a half hour each way on those dates. So it'd be like 9:06 plus 30 minutes. So it'd be 9:36 you could stay in your blind. But these Garmins, they're pretty cool, and it gives you the moon phase and everything. So there's no excuse to be hunting in the wrong slot if you're hunting past that last half hour or before the first half hour, because you can figure it up right here, right in your pocket. You don't have to carry, if you got the Garmin E-Track with you, it tells you the best time to be in the tree stand and your location, and sunrise and sunset at your location around the world. Well, we had a visitor. They didn't like the shirt. I'd like to see what that was all about. Well, let's see what happens tonight. Well, as you can see, they tore down my shirt. And that happened since 9 o'clock this morning. It's about 4:30 right now. I got some stinky stuff down there. And the wind's blowing it right over to them where they should be. It's got like a southwest wind blowing it up into there. So I hope what got pissed off comes back, and I'll get even for him for tearing my shirt down. So let's get her done. here today, and we have a little instrument here by a fellow Canadian that you people may have interest in. It's called a 4L, and it's 4 laser, and it's a nice little instrument. Turn it on, and push that button, and a little green laser light comes out of there. Now, if you had a rifle, that would cast it out there, maybe, well, it'd cast it as long as the laser would go. And, 300-yard shot, 250-yard shot, you could cast the direction where you've seen the animal go in the bush. But in this case, I can also clamp it onto my tree stand up here when I'm bow hunting. Even though I'm only shooting 17 yards, I can get a general indication where the bear went, and you may be able to enhance retrieving your bear in a situation that it wasn't really quite designed for, but very well possibly could work. And if nothing else, once you get down in there and if it gets dark on you, you should be able to see this for quite a ways, and you can at least get back to your stand. And if you get back to your stand, then maybe you can figure out what you should be able to once you get to the stand, which direction to go to get out of the Boreal Forest at night. So we're going to give this a test try, Jody, and and if it works during the nighttime, that'll be really great. But you can pick these up. Jody Collins has them for sale, and they're pretty neat. Well, that looks like a wrap for 2014 bear season. You watched us turn a cold barrel into a hot barrel. We started out Saturday night with no activity, brought that barrel back to life. We did some tactics that you've seen. We put some human urine out there. That didn't distract the bears. We used some Tim Horton coffee. Matter of fact, that really was pretty cool. The kipper snack and the smoked oysters, that bear was really into them. He got right in them. But the cat food that was up on top of that log, he didn't have no interest in that. So he must have been a finicky bear. I figure cats are pretty finicky, but bears must be more finicky. So, but keep trying different things. You ain't got nothing to lose but time. And, there was a thing when I was lasering that bear, that was in no shape or form ever attached to my bow. This is the 4L laser sight by Jody Collins, and it was just fun to be able to, if you ever was a shoot and release, I'd rather shoot him with that laser and let him walk. You could see where you could aim at. It gave us all kinds of aiming spots. If you would have wanted to harvest that bear, you had plenty of opportunities. He was in there right at when the GPS said, with daylight savings time figured in, it would have been 7:34 to 8:34, and he was right in there at about, in that time frame. So get yourself a GPS, and maybe that'll help you out in the future. If you're planning on going bear hunting up here, Bob Behrman runs a top-notch outfit, but he can't guarantee you're going to shoot a 400-pound bear. We've talked about that, and boy, it'd be nice if every hunter came up, you could just go out and put him on a 400-pound bear. But that's not hunting. That's not how it's going to happen, folks. And I'm not going to blow smoke. you're going to have a fair chase hunt, and you're going to have to put your time in. And Bob does all he can do to make it a fair chase hunt, but it's still a hunt. And just because you paid money across the table doesn't mean there's any guarantees. And some people have trouble with that, because they feel they bought something. Well, they did. They bought his service. They bought the motel stay, the accommodations, the knowledge the man's had his entire life spent up here in the Ontario bush, but he can't guarantee you that you're going to have a shot. And he can't guarantee you what size of bear you're going to have either. So, like I said, I shot my bear with this laser, but in no shape or form was it ever attached to that bow. Because you'd seen how it shaked, you'd never be able to hold it still anyway. But it was fun to do it that way. It was almost like shooting a paintball gun at him. The bear's no worse for the wear, and I had fun. I've been up here 3 nights, and like I say, we turned a cold barrel into a hot barrel, and maybe somebody can get in there and shoot that bear if that's what their desire would be. I mean, it wasn't my cup of tea, but then I can't tell tea from pea. So with that said, good luck in the future, and if you can ever use Nipigon River Bear Hunts, Bob Bearman out of Nipigon, Ontario, you can't go wrong. So that's it from the Non-Typical Norwalkian.